Okay, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Will you please rise and join me in the pledge to our flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, no actions were taken in closed session. At this point, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Second. Been moved and seconded. We'll be doing a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. All those who wish to abstain, say abstain. Do so when noted. The roll call vote. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
There we go. Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes unanimously. Now we're going to move on to recognition. We're going to move on to item A, present and adopt Mental Health Awareness Month Resolution number 945.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded.
Hello, I'm Nina Dollywall. I'm a social worker for Robla School District, one of them, and I am representing the other social workers for resolution number 945, Mental Health Awareness Month, May 2026. Whereas the month of May has been designated as National Mental Health Awareness Month in the United States since 1949 by the Mental Health America organization. And whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and children, youth, and adults can recover from mental illness and lead full and productive lives in the community. And whereas a focus on prevention and early intervention efforts could greatly reduce the number of children experiencing serious mental health conditions. And whereas the Robla School District recognizes parents and family members have made invaluable contributions through their commitment, care, and advocacy for the treatment of individuals with mental health concerns. And whereas the Robla School District employs and partners with a wide range of specialized professionals dedicated to support student mental health, including school social workers, school psychologists, and Sacramento County Office of Education clinicians who provide comprehensive services to meet the diverse needs of our students. And whereas the Robla School District reaffirms its pledge to continually assess and improve the range of educational and mental health services provided to meet the varying needs of our students. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Robla School District does hereby proclaim May as Mental Health Awareness Month and recommits our educational community into increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our children, youth, and adults can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people, especially children and youth with mental health concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor, please, all those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. This motion passes unanimously. Passed and adopted by the governing board of the Robla School District on this 23rd day of April 2026. Okay, now we'll move on to item B, present and adopt Classified Employees Appreciation Resolution number 942.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please share.
Evening. Resolution number 942 in recognition of classified school employees, May 2026. Whereas classified school employees provide essential services that ensure the smooth and effective operation of our schools, and whereas April 22nd marks Administrative Professional Day, commemorating the time to honor the administrative staff whose organizational skills and efficiency keep our schools running smoothly. And whereas April 28th is designated as School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, recognizing the commitment and care demonstrated by our bus drivers in safely transporting students to and from school each day. And whereas May 1st celebrates School Lunch Hero Day, acknowledging the essential role of school nutrition staff in ensuring students have access to nutritious meals to support their growth and learning. And whereas May 17th through 23rd is Classified School Employees Week, a time dedicated to honoring the diverse array of classified staff members who work tirelessly behind the scenes to enrich the educational experiences for students. Therefore, be it resolved that the Robla School Board hereby expresses its most profound appreciation to all classified school employees for their unwavering dedication, hard work, commitment to the well-being and success of our students, and be it further resolved that the Robla School Board encourages all school community members to take this opportunity to recognize and thank classified school employees for their exceptional contributions to our education mission.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Passed and adopted by the governing board of the Robla School District on the 23rd day of April 2026. And now we'll move on to C. Present and adopt Certificated Employees Appreciation Resolution number 943.
So moved.
Second.
Good evening. Resolution number 943, in recognition of certificated employees. Whereas certificated employees play a vital role in the education and development of our students, embodying dedication, passion, and expertise in their respective fields. And whereas May 4th through 8th is designated as National Teacher Appreciation Week, a time to honor and recognize the invaluable contributions of teachers to the education and well-being of our students. And whereas May 13th is observed as California Day of the Teacher, a day set aside to recognize the significant role educators play in shaping the future of our state by inspiring and empowering students to reach their full potential. And whereas May 6th is also designated as National School Nurse Day, highlighting the crucial role school nurses play in promoting student health, safety, and well-being, and their contributions to creating a nurturing and supportive school environment. And whereas May 18th is recognized as National Speech Pathologist Day, an opportunity to acknowledge the vital role speech pathologists play in helping students overcome communication challenges and reach their academic and personal goals. Therefore, be it resolved that the Robla School Board acknowledges and expresses deep appreciation to all certificated employees, including teachers, school nurses, and speech pathologists, for their tireless dedication, professionalism, and passion for the education and welfare of our students. And be it further resolved that the Robla School Board encourages all members of the school community to take this opportunity to thank certificated employees for their outstanding contributions and to show appreciation for their commitment to excellence in education.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay in a roll call vote. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we'll now move on to communications. And we'll start. Okay, members of the public may address the Board of Trustees regarding any special board meeting agenda item during board consideration of that item. Please note that if you wish to address the Board of Trustees on an agenda item, you should do so when that specific item is called for by the board president. In order to do so, to comment in person, please fill out a request to be heard card and give it to the board assistant. Your name will be called during public comment on that agenda item, or will be called on that agenda item. Comments are limited to 2 minutes. To submit a comment via Assembly Gamut meetings, enter your name and email address, and the board assistant will provide your comment to the board. To submit your comment via YouTube, you can comment in the live chat, and the board assistant will share your comment with the board as appropriate. All right, now is the time to address the board on an item that is not on the agenda. Please note that because it's not an agendized item, we cannot take action on it. We will do our best to try and address your concerns, and we may not necessarily do it at this meeting because it's not an agendized item, but know that you are being heard. Is there anyone who would like to address the board on an item that is not on tonight's agenda? And nothing online. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on now to reports, and we'll start with the Robla Education Foundation.
That's an accomplishment. I made it up here. Not too much going on, however. I've got a couple of flyers that are in the process of being drawn up. I have a very able person doing the flyers for me this year, and we're going to get them printed up and sent out to every student, sent home with every student, in addition to having the school sites put it on their parent square, having this young man to my left put it on all the social media sites for the district on more than one occasion. And the last thing I have is next Tuesday night at the library at Robla. We will be having an organizational meeting for all the members of the foundation that are on my mailing list that are able to attend. And that includes the three of you that have been working the booth. We have to select a new president. Just had the services today for our previous president. He passed away earlier this month. So kind of forced me into a situation. I have to get a president, which I do have a candidate or volunteer already, but it's up to the people who attend to approve this person to become the president. That way everything is nice and legal. Looking forward to seeing you all there at 6:30 on Tuesday evening. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Okay, next report, Robla Teachers Association. Classified School Employees Association. Superintendent's report.
Good evening. I'll try to make it quick because I know we have a long agenda, and it's been about a month since our last board meeting. So just to highlight, we sent a team to the CASA conference, and I know Ms. Benjamin and Ms. Lyon will be sharing the work that we do in partnership with CASA and CCEE. President Deleuze and I had just attended Coast to Coast Federal Advocacy in Washington, D.C. last week. Spring break camp was a success, 10 straight days, and we had an average of at least 100 students each day, which is a really great increase. Taylor had their tree planting ceremony on Saturday, April 4th, and then the next tree planting event for Bell and pre-K will be Saturday, May 2nd. This Saturday, Main Avenue's parent group is hosting Flapjacks with Families. So they invited the entire district. Pre-sales is $3 for students and $5 for adults. But if you don't want a pre-sale and you just wake up Saturday morning and you want to have flapjacks at Main Avenue, it's going to cost $4 for students and $6 for adults. So great fundraiser. Today we had our last, I would say, regular season intramural games for soccer, because I think next Thursday is playoffs and finals. So really close game between Glenwood and Maine before Ramon and I had to leave to go over to Bell and Robla. But really, really good. The kids were exciting. And then so we will announce what the schedule will be like for next Thursday, when I think we do, is it 1 versus 2 and 3 versus 4, or maybe 1 versus 4 and 2, 3? I'm not sure. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay. And maybe one team might go against adults, teachers. We'll see. That hasn't been finalized. And then finally, the CASP testing window starts next week for a few schools and then the rest the following week. So parents, if you're listening, I encourage that your students get a good night's sleep for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Okay. We will now move on to board member reports. We'll start with Trustee Cardona.
Yes.
Do you have anything to report?
No, no in the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Devine?
Good evening, everyone. I was one of the people or trustees who was able to attend the CASA conference earlier this month. And it is my favorite conference that we do because instead of being told like ideas to fix things, we get results of how they have happened in other districts. And it is a great learning opportunity for us. So I am hoping that our district starts implementing some of the stuff that we learned.
Trustee Barnes?
Yes, I was one of the members who was able to attend the CASA conference as well, and it was very empowering. And I love attending conferences like that because they do allow us to learn more about how to serve and how to bring meaningful programs to our district. So wonderful, wonderful conference, and I do look forward to implementing some of the things that we learned from that conference. Wonderful conference.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
I just want to echo what they said. I thought the conference was really great. I'm always excited to go and learn and be in community with other like-minded folks. And so, yeah, thank you for the opportunity to attend. It's really good.
I had the opportunity to attend the Coast to Coast with Superintendent Chen, and what was neat, was really interesting this year was there weren't a whole lot of like huge partisan divisive issues. A lot of the conversation was around the Individual with Disabilities Education Act, and this basically has to do with the requirements that deals with special education. And the interesting thing is, well, as you may or may not know, the federal government is required to provide a certain level of funding, and they're not providing that level of funding. And what that does is it means that we have to take money out of our general fund in order to be able to meet those needs. The great thing about this particular trip was everybody was talking about it. It had bipartisan support in terms of working towards fuller or hopefully full funding, but more towards fuller funding. And it was a great opportunity because everybody pretty much was focused primarily on that. And that was the big conversation piece with each of the offices. The challenge was that most of the Sacramento delegation was here in Sacramento because most of them are now running in competitive congressional races. The good news is that means they're here in Sacramento, which means all of you can have a chance to talk with them. If you ever get a chance and you see them, say, you need to fully fund special education. So just a great talking point for each and every one of you. It's the big issue right now, at least on the federal level for us. And trust me, every student is impacted because every dollar that we're required to spend that they don't give us, that they mandate, that comes out of the classroom. So anyway, that was an interesting point, but it was also nice to be able to go in and sing the same song as one chorus. And that will be it for reports. We'll now move on to public hearing. This public hearing is to sunshine a proposal from the Robla Teachers Association to the Robla School District for the 2026-27 bargaining negotiations. This hearing is now open.
I just want to share a little bit about where we're at with bargaining with the RTA bargaining unit. So this year, we are completely settled on all monetary items. So what you're seeing is one of two potential articles that RTA can open, and the district also has the option this year to open language-only articles. It is our understanding from the teachers bargaining team that we may be bringing one additional article, but they're wrapping up conversations with their unit, so that may come at a later date. The other thing is once we finalize negotiations, You will find that we're going to have an additional article that will be asked for approval because it's actually carryover from last year, and that's the Teacher Professional Growth Review Cycle article. We created an MOU in 25-26 to pause so that we could work through a pilot program and then come to agreement on contract language, which we do have a TA on, and you'll hear a little bit more about the pilot with the peer facilitators presentation.
Are there any additional comments?
Fine.
Any online comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. I will now move on to presentations and information, and we will start with item A, the 2025-26 Robla Teacher Professional Growth System Update.
Yeah. Good evening, trustees, Superintendent Chen. My name is Cheryl Coker, and this is my colleague, Marcos Ornelas. We are the peer facilitators that support the Robla Teacher Professional Growth System, and this is our annual update. All right, so as Nicole alluded to, this year the growth system has seen a number of changes. The MOU with the Robla Teachers Association at the end of March 25 outlined a shift in the program to align with the California standards for the teaching profession. As part of that agreement, those California standards for the teaching profession, there are 6 standards with 4 to 7 elements in each standard. That agreement agreed to focus on standards 2, 4, and 6 for the 25-26 school year. Also part of that agreement for the 25-26 school year, only temporary and probationary employees would participate in the review process. Another provision of that MOU was that certain job types would use previous existing rubrics that are housed on the Frontline platform. Those job types that were called out were the preschool teachers, speech language pathologists, psychologists, program specialists, nurses, and social workers. A final provision of the MOU was a pilot program to where permanent teachers could volunteer to participate, and then as well as include assistant principals as facilitators. The CSTPs were refreshed for 2024. And then in July 2025, the continuum of practice was released. These 2 documents provide the structure and support the work that we did to build the program. Also, as part of our work transforming the growth system, we researched digital platforms that could support that work. And thanks to your passing last month, we're in the process of implementing the new Perform platform from PowerSchool to help support our work. So let's take a little deeper dive into some of the changes and the impacts to the program. So in essence, that MOU split our Robla Teacher Professional Growth into 3 different structures within our system. The first group are those CSDPs, those California Standards for the Teaching Profession. Temporary and probationary teachers, including interns, were there using that standard 2, 4, and 6. And so we have 31 participants there. The second structure were those called out job types that use the previous existing rubrics, and there are 9 participants there. And our last one was our pilot, where we had those permanent volunteers. We got 11 teachers to volunteer this year. And they're either working with Marcos and I, the peer facilitators, and we also included 4 assistant principals. That group is giving us lots of feedback. Marcos is going to delve into that a little bit later. Is in terms of numbers, like, whoop. Thank you. So in terms of the breakdown of those facilitator caseloads that principals and directors are seeing, so they are the ones who are seeing all of the probationary and temporary, including interns. So you can see the first column are the CSTP group. The second column highlights those in blue are those frontline group. And you can see the numbers of the caseloads are still very high, especially for like Director Horowitz, who's balancing 2 different systems, Newhouse, and very high caseloads. Marcos is going to go ahead and share a little bit more about the historical numbers and some.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, here we'll take a look at the number of participants over the last few years and looking forward to the next couple of years. If you'll take a notice, prior to this year, 25-26, our numbers were pretty stable in the 70s or so, with about even numbers of permanent probationary, but you will notice that that number of probationary is ticking up and the number of permanents is going a little bit down. When we get to this year, 25-26, as Cheryl had mentioned, we're implementing the pilot program of our CSTV-based system, and that resulted in permanent teachers being pushed off a year, except for those who chose to volunteer to give us some feedback on that. And so the numbers for 25-26 you'll see there are just probationary and intern teachers. If we go into next year, we'll see that now we're starting to include those permanent teachers who will now be back in the review in the professional growth system. And those numbers are pretty balanced, about 20 and 20 or so, but these numbers will fluctuate as we have teachers joining us and teachers leaving us. So those numbers will change just a little bit. What you'll also notice is the last year we have up there, 27-28. Oh. Over 27-28, you're going to see that we have a large number of permanent teachers joining the professional growth cycle again. Again, as a result of people coming back on track, people moving over from probationary to permanent status. Okay, and so now we'll thanks, Chuck. All right. Now, thinking about those pilot teachers, those teachers who volunteered to give us feedback on our new system, we have here some thoughts that people shared with us. So if you wouldn't mind taking a moment just to glance over them, you'll notice that one of the overwhelming sentiments was that switching over to CSTPs was a welcome change. A lot of teachers had mentioned how being able to do that allowed them to have a common language, to be able to share their growth goals with others, to be able to focus on their growth as a whole as a teacher, as opposed to the more focused system as previously laid out. So we got a lot of positive feedback from that. And as Cheryl had also mentioned, we are in the process of switching over our system to using the Perform platform, which is based on the group Power School. And one of the reasons for that is our previous system, Frontline, had some user-friendly challenges, and Perform, the technology available with Perform will address a lot of those challenges, such as being able to save work as they're working on it, an auto-save function, which it seems like a small thing, but it is really helpful for a lot of teachers. Being able to get notifications through the system, being able to document things as accurately as we can, and so just some of those technological features that Perform provides, we believe will provide for a much more user-friendly system. Not to mention that this system will allow us to make changes as they're needed and help allow us to develop those tools that will support our teachers and staff as well as we can. All right, so thinking about where we are right now, what our next goals are going to be, our first goal is once, excuse me, at the conclusion of bargaining, we're going to be able to then finalize any calendars, due dates, establish the CSDP goals that people will be focusing on within the system. And then that leads us to our second goal, which will be to finalize all the digitalization of everything, moving everything over from right now where it is at in Frontline or in our Google Drive system over to the Perform platform. Then our third goal is going to be to train everybody in that. So that'll include our certificated staff and our administrators, both processes of the professional growth system, but also in the use of the Perform platform. Our goals for the upcoming year, and those will be done over the course of orientations at the start of next school year. All right, so that's what we have for you. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to take them.
Questions? So I'm curious, I know that the previous system was developed in coordination with staff in order to really kind of get away from just the traditional evaluation system and really develop a system which is what you want to do, which is basically to provide professional growth in areas. How is this system different? Is it more of an evaluation system? I mean, I'm curious why the change.
So one of the main driving forces behind the change was when the initial system or the system that we had previously was developed, the district was really investing in SOAR training. And so a lot of our teachers were being were provided professional development in the SOAR teaching frame, which is based on standards within California. But as we've stepped away from that, we were finding that our newer teachers weren't getting that same level of training with the SOAR teaching frame. And so one of the overriding questions was, well, how do we support these new teachers who are coming in? They're not getting that same level of training. So the thought was, well, the CSTPs are what they're learning when they're in their preparatory programs, when they're in induction, they're working with CSTPs. And it provides, again, a common language that everybody who's coming in from other districts or other teaching preparation programs are going to be familiar with. And it is still based on teacher professional growth. If we take a close look at the rubrics, we'll see that all of those standards within the continuum, which is the rubric, really lays out what that professional growth will look like at their various stages.
And then the software system that you're using is actually going to be more conducive to that.
Exactly. As we're switching over to that new system, now we can develop it within, or switching over to the CSTP-based professional growth system, now we can develop it on this new platform, which will allow us to really provide supports for those teachers.
How do some of the more experienced teachers feel about the change?
Well, some of the feedback that we've received, those pilot teachers, they're all experienced permanent status teachers who volunteered to share with us how they felt about it. And what we're seeing is a welcome, that is a welcome change. That addressing this, our professional growth through the CSTPs allows us all to look at things in a yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And you use PowerSchool for anything else or only for?
As of right now, it's new to our district, so that right now it will be used for the professional growth.
Any additional questions or comments? Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right. All right, now we're going to move on to item B, African American Student Success Network Case Study and Student Outcomes Update.
All right, good evening. Principal Benjamin and I are going to share with you a little bit of the work that we've been doing over the past 3 years. This is our third year of working with this network. So I'm going to start off with sharing with you a little bit about what the African American Student Success Network is. The African American Student Success Network is a collaboration with the California Collaboration for Education and Excellence. California Collaboration for Educational Excellence is a state agency that works with LEAs to help look at student improvement and addressing specific student groups. This network is also in conjunction with the California Association of African American Superintendents and Administrators. A lot of long names here. So we work with a team from the California CCEE, as it's called, as well as representatives from CASA. The network is focused on supporting local education agencies, as I said, and looking at our data, identifying barriers, and implementing evidence-based practices to improve the academic, social, emotional, and lifelong outcomes for our Black students in California. We are one of 10 networks currently working with CCEE. I hope you don't mind if I refer to them as CCEE. And these are the networks that are currently working with them. You might ask why us. If you had noticed on that slide, we are the only elementary district that is currently working with CCEE. But if you look at our data, our statistics into as to who we are, and when you look at California and Robla, we serve a larger percentage of Black, African American, and Brown students than what's currently in the state of California. So we have a high percentage of those students in our district. We also, if you look at by school, you'll see where those students are African American students and the other Brown and Black students lie within our district. We chose Taylor Street to be part of this collaborative work because it holds the highest number of African American students for our district. As I said, we've been on a 3-year journey so far. In the beginning, the process was looking at our data and identifying our problem of practice. One of the things that we really noticed was the attendance, attendance overall, chronic absenteeism, daily attendance, and suspension rates. We also looked at the academic performance of our African American students. So in year 1, we focused highly on that attendance piece, and we looked at what is bringing our students to school? How can we incentivize our students to come to school? And is there something that we're doing that we can identify is bringing our students to school? So part of that year, we had the Freedom School at Taylor Street School. So we looked at the attendance at Freedom School and overall to see if that brought up the attendance rate. So we couldn't make a direct correlation with attendance and the after-school program. We did find from talking to our students, doing interviews with our students, that they really enjoyed the Freedom School, especially the piece called Harambe. And Roberts was very responsive in increasing the amount of Harambe to hopefully, again, bring the students to school, knowing that that was something that was going to happen more often. The second year, we really looked at the dedication of our community outreach assistant at Taylor Street School, who focused working with our African American students and their families, and that role that played. And then going from year 1 to current, Principal Benjamin is looking at parent engagement and the homeschool bridge and connecting with the families and just building that inclusive environment, that welcoming environment for the students. Our African American outreach position, as you know, we've had a number of different people in that position. We're happy to say that the individual that was holding that position last year is now working towards a teaching credential. So she is working in the district as an intern, but which means, again, we have lost some consistency in having a person in that position. This year, we do have the community school grant. So we looked at the community school liaison and what role can that person play. So we've been looking this year at that. It's like, how can they fill this gap in the time that we have not been able to find another African-American outreach, or can they do the position and meet the needs in that way? So that's where we're standing right now in terms of our strategies. Our data learnings, Principal Benjamin is going to go over some of the data, but we have learned that with some intentional focus and some really looking at our students, who they are when they're absent, reaching out to families, that we can make a big difference in attendance. As you well know, because you've heard many times about her winning the attendance challenges at her site. She's going to share with you some increases in the ELA and math scores for African American students and the decrease in suspension rates, which overall our district does not have high suspension rates. At the dashboard sometimes is a little deceiving because you see like you go from green to yellow, but that might mean 1 suspension when you look at our numbers. So she's going to share all that data with you all.
Thank you, Ms. Lyon. So I'm going to show you, I like to say the good stuff, right? So the data that shows, this particular slide was showed at CASA around all of, Ms. Lyon had mentioned all of the districts that are in this network that we're in as well. So the red line represents all the African Americans in those districts along with ours, compared to the state African Americans in both ELA and math. And as you can see, the students within those districts, including ours, are performing a little bit better than the state African Americans as well, both in ELA and in math. So that's showing a lot and saying a lot about the network and the work that's being done with our African American students. So to drill down to Robla and specifically, we went back from 23, 24, 24, 25, and then October of this school year and recently of last week. So you can see the district overall is in the 90s. And then the African Americans have been fluctuating between 91, currently now at 92. For Taylor, last year was a huge year at 96. I mean, that's great. Historically, it's been really low. There has been a dip, but we are making our way back up and at 93, and then same with our African Americans. In the 90s, last year they're at 94, which is great. And then there has been a dip, but we're slowly making our way back up. Chronic absenteeism, similar. We went back to 2022 as a baseline, and then we have 23, 24, and then our current data. And as you can see, it is decreasing, which is the way we want to go, which is down. Just highlighting even in the blue in October at 14%, which is great, and then 20%. And then currently now we're at 28, which is a little lower than the district, 34. So we're moving in the right direction. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that at Taylor and specifically with our push for attendance. She had mentioned we had a designated BCOA, and this year our community school liaison is really, really doing a great job working with our office staff and families around attendance. So continuing that work at Taylor. In suspensions, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but like Ms. Lyon mentioned, it's not high for the district or the African Americans. District-wide is about 3.5. At Taylor last year was 1.4. So it's decreasing overall, both for overall Taylor and for our African American students, which is way lower than the state for suspensions. So for ELA, we wanted to highlight that if we look historically at Taylor and the district, we're doing pretty good. We could see in the 20s overall in the district. Taylor last year was in the 30s, 32, and then the Robla African Americans as a district also improved from 22 to 36, and then at Taylor we went up from 22 to 43%. And she had mentioned Taylor does have the largest African American population, so that's quite a few students that jumped from 22% to 43%. The 49% is represented just the California overall ELA standards. Students meeting those standards. Similar for math, I mean, we're moving up. We're putting in a lot of work for that. District-wide is in the 20s. Taylor, similar, we went up from 24 to 25. And then the Robla overall district African Americans, 16%. And last year we went up from 20, jumped from 10 to 20 and then to 24. So again, we're moving in the right direction. Overall, California students meeting standard, just overall is 37. So that's kind of where we're trying to get to. Lastly, one of the key things, every month we meet with CCEE and CASA, the part of the CASA, and we are really focused on the intentionality piece of it. The work that we're doing in that network along with all the other districts is really impactful because we just don't talk about it, we're in there doing the work. We're talking about what's happening, how it's happening, and we're sharing ideas. And I'm really proud of Taylor. I've been in the district a long time. And just historically, just to see this movement with our African American students and African American students across the district is really great to see. And I do want to say thank you to the board members that are able to go to the CASA conference. It makes it, people are like, what, you have board members here? So that's really great. It shows the support. And I think that's all. That's it. Any questions?
Want to add one little piece that happened after we put together this presentation. We recently went into a partnership with Parsec, which is a dashboard that compiles all our data and gives us an opportunity to really quickly and easily hone down to different student groups and whatnot. And I just wanted to share that working with these partners, they shared with us, they saw our data with our African American students and they were like, wow, you guys are making gains faster than anybody else we're seeing. What are you guys doing? So even though we don't have our students where we want them yet, we're moving the needle and we're moving the needle faster than other districts in the state of California. That was really positive, good feedback to hear.
Questions?
I have a comment, I guess. I thank you for this presentation. I'm really excited to hear that the numbers are moving and growing. I do kind of want to give I do want to give a shout out to Roberts Family Development and Mr. Roberts and the work that they're partnering with y'all and doing. I know that we might not have the data to show a direct correlation. I do believe that they're an important part of the strategy. And so I just want to give them a shout out for the work that they've been doing. So, yeah.
I second that, Roberts Family Development Center, and Daryl Roberts sitting in the back. You can raise your hand and, wave. So a shout out to him. I do have a question. So I love the approach that you were focusing on the students that showed up, and because those are best practices, and you know why you can continue that. You also they also focus on the ones that didn't show up and figure out why. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So those would be like our chronic absenteeism. So we have a lot of students that move in and out of the district as well. And then we had some that were, I guess you can see, just living with other family members. So it's just kind of hard sometimes to get to school. So that's where our dedicated BCOA and our community school liaison kind of steps in and do what we can to help them. Sometimes we have bus cards and, so things of that nature. And being in contact with the family, we get to know what's going on. And so that's been very helpful as well. So generally, it has to do with kind of living situations.
Tell me a little bit more about intentionality. What do you mean by intentionality?
So I think since beginning in the program, we've been very intentional in addressing and being, I guess, authentic with the data around African American students in this particular case. Historically, they have had the highest suspension rates at Taylor. Even the chronic absenteeism has been really high. The suspensions have been really high. So being intentional with, okay, well, why is that? And having those open conversations, which aren't always easy, but having those conversations with the staff. I want to give a huge shout out to the staff as well. And then looking at best practices within the classroom. How can we address students that are struggling with learning? And one of the key things we found in here was there is a correlation with the attendance and being at school.
Mm-hmm. What are we doing? Are we doing something different with our African American students, either than we were doing before or that we're doing with other students?
I think in this case, I want to say from last year when we had our dedicated BCOA, I think there was this academic component that was happening as well. They were connecting with parents to get students at school, and then they were also doing the academic piece of it, pulling small groups as well. But I feel like overall, the intentional piece is all students, but having that dedicated person, there to help with the additional academic supports was key as well.
I guess because what I'm seeing here is what you're saying is by focusing and making sure that we're doing the basic blocking and tackling the basic things that we're supposed to be doing, and we're intentionally monitoring and making sure that we're doing it for these students, it's getting done and it's showing results. And which probably means that if we can do more of that with more of our students, we can see broader results across all groups. Okay.
And I would just want to add in terms of the intentionality, when you're part of this network, as they mentioned, we meet every month. So we are held accountable every month to report on our data and share what we did, right? So I think that holds her staff extra accountable, right? Because we know we have to report the data. So if she goes a month without discussing it in a staff meeting or discussing a practice, that is going to be reported in the next meeting. And obviously, you don't want to report that, right? So I think that's the intentionality, because we're also held accountable. So yes, should we duplicate this for all our students? Absolutely, right? So the conversations of intentionality and holding accountability should be duplicated, or a best practice in everything that we do.
Well, thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you so much for the work you're doing. And I'm looking forward to future reports, because I like seeing success.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move on to item C, special education update.
Yeah.
All right, good evening. Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Janet Horowitz, Director of Special Services for the Robla School District. This is my 4th year in the district, my 3rd year coming before you and presenting data on where we are with our programs and where we're hoping to head. Come on. Here we go. These are our current numbers for the 25-26 school year as of April 2025. Our total district enrollment is 2,008 students, preschool through 6th grade. Of those students, 351 receive special education services. That totals 17.4%, which is slightly above the statewide average of 15.2 and about 1% higher than we were last year. These colorful lines here represent each of the 3 years that I've brought this information towards you. The blue is the 23-24 school year, red is 24-25, and green is 25-26, the current year. So at this point in time, just looking at these to point out some trends for you, as you can see, our number of students eligible under the category of autism has increased pretty significantly over the last 2 years, for a total almost a 34% increase in students eligible under autism. That can be attributed to a lot of things in the research, including better identification practices, but also there is a component of during the for the students, especially in preschool, that were growing up during the years of COVID that weren't receiving the same level of interaction with social peers, things like that, that has resulted in some increases in those numbers. It's expected, however, that our autism numbers will continue to grow. One thing that I've noticed in our district that did you go ahead?
I'm sorry, I have a question. Can you tell me what the blue line and the red line and the green line?
Blue is 23-24.
Okay, I missed that.
That's okay. Red is 24-25 and green is 25-26.
Okay, thank you.
So it's just, if you look at, you can see that pattern of an increase over the years. Most of our other eligibility categories have stayed pretty consistent in their numbers, with really minor fluctuations in identification, but it is that one category of autism that is leading most of our increase in special education.
What is wait, it's on here, isn't it? Speech
SLB?
language impairment. Okay.
SLI, speech and language impairment, that is our largest category by far, because it also includes a lot of our preschool students who receive articulation services. A lot of the students that are eligible under speech and language impairment will exit from special education.
So this is, people aren't under two categories, correct? They're only
This is
under one.
primary disability, correct. It also could be that a student with autism also has a speech and language impairment, but we're counting each student once.
Okay.
Looking at it by grade level, as you can see, preschool is a lot of our numbers, as I said, because of speech and language impairments. Our sixth grade numbers, well, they're not really, they look like they're so much larger than sixth grade last year, but if you look down where you look, blue in fourth grade becomes red in fifth grade, becomes green in sixth grade. So if you look at your cohort, that sixth grade year is one of our largest groups for special education eligibility. Those are students who were impacted quite a bit during COVID by having either distance learning, or some of our students just didn't participate in learning during that time for whatever reason. And then we went through all of the catch up from that. So there are quite a few students who are still continuing to receive special education services. Looking at primary program, speech and language only programs have most of our students in them. Those are students who might receive 30 minutes a week or 60 minutes a week of speech therapy. Our specialized academic instruction can be provided as a small group pullout. It's sometimes provided as a special education teacher pushing into the classroom, supporting students in the general education classroom so that they're participating in general education grade level curriculum. That's SAI. That's our next largest group of students. The next two are mild mod, self-contained, and extensive support needs, self-contained classrooms. Our students who are in a special education classroom for the majority of their day. That could be anywhere from 51% to 100% of their day. Typically, the students will receive some mainstreaming. They will participate with peers for lunch, for recess, for art, for music, science, those sorts of activities. Some students will participate in for academics as well. Each student's participation in mainstreaming is driven by their IEP or individualized education program. The smallest program right now is our inclusion program. I know I've been talking about this every year for the last 3 years, and as you can see, we're showing some pretty successful growth in our inclusion program. That is one of the areas where the state is encouraging all districts to ensure that students have meaningful access to general education programs. They have the ability to participate with general education peers to the maximum amounts possible.
And we've done a significant amount of professional development in this area as well, right?
We have done quite a bit of professional development in this area because it's not just enough to have a student with an IEP in a general education classroom if they're not being supported and participating in a meaningful way. So over the past 3 years, or the past 2 years, coming up, we have a contract tonight for a third year. We've been working with Changing Perspectives, specifically at several of the school sites, to increase teacher and staff awareness and understanding of inclusive practices, providing coaching, also just ensuring that we are providing best practice in that area. Along those lines, I just wanted to share a little bit of a summary for you from Mr. Sam Drazen, who is the founder of Changing Perspectives. We are so fortunate that for whatever reason, Mr. Drazen moved from Vermont to Natomas 3 years ago. So we've been able to have a lot of access to him in person, where a lot of districts have more remote or virtual coaching. In year 2, Robla Elementary established 2 goals: that they would, by May of 2026, create a system of communication between general education teachers, special education teachers, and paraeducators to better support the academic and social needs of students receiving special education services. Also to cultivate a school community through relationship building, intentional language for all adults, to view all students as their students by providing multiple opportunities for adults to learn about all students and for all students to learn about all adults. Notable achievements at Robla this year have included creating an inclusion leadership team, gathering data on current strengths and weaknesses within the school, developing a system of communication between all adults within the classroom. Mr. Drazen has provided teachers with the opportunity to meet with him for one-on-one coaching at the school site to empower teachers. They can bring students that they have concerns about to work with him and brainstorm ideas to help support those students, and to provide teachers with practical strategies. They have received professional development in multiple areas throughout the year. Taylor Street is also in their second year with goals around developing a common inclusive mindset to be demonstrated through the use of inclusive language and actions that reinforce that all students are our students, and to clearly define the roles and responsibilities of all educators. Their achievements include increased consistency in shared language across campus, a cycle of feedback model to support identified teachers in their practice through multi-coaching sessions and observations, increased teacher knowledge on specific disabilities, providing teachers with practical strategies to increase student engagement. And he noted a huge win, which is that our PE teacher at Taylor has absolutely seized on the concept of inclusion and is doing full inclusion for all of our special education students during the day, which is tremendous to watch. And I would encourage you to ask Ms. Benjamin to see some of the photos that she regularly sends me of our students engaged in activities. I also just want to note that it was shared with me this morning just as an anecdotal but data-based anecdote that we had an IEP recently for a student in the inclusion classroom at Taylor. This student came to us from a non-public school, which is one of the private schools that only serve special education students. When the student came to us, they went into one of our self-contained classrooms and did some, the next year, some mainstreaming. This year he went into full inclusion and he is currently reading at grade level, which is just an incredible progress to see in just a very short period of time. The other schools participating have included Robla Preschool, which is working on increasing their knowledge around inclusion and how that fits into the early childhood education context. And building inclusive mindsets with asset-based language. They received professional development in a common understanding of inclusion, taking a deep dive into assessment, and also understanding how to use flexible seating, fidgets, and other occupational therapy tools to build student success. Main Avenue also is in their first year with common changing perspectives. They developed a common definition of calming corners, which they really wanted to focus on this year as a team. Every classroom now has a calming corner and is able to explain to students how to use it effectively as a reset area with the opportunity to rejoin the classroom and engage in activities. They've also created an inclusion leadership team and are working on an alignment of inclusive mindsets throughout the campus. So that's where we are at this point in time. As I said, we are bringing forward a contract with Changing Perspectives for a third year. I've again worked with College Futures and secured their support in helping fund this program for us as they see the benefits of all students being able to participate meaningfully in the general education program. Any questions?
Thank you.
No questions, just a comment that this does show how everything is connected. The comments that Trustee Duluth mentioned earlier about the advocacy of Superintendent Chen and Trustee Duluth, and how it's all connected. So might be a good time for you to repeat what you said earlier.
Oh, yeah. Well, with the increased demand and the need, the reality is that the need is there. And regardless of whether the federal government sends us the money or not, we're required to provide the services. If they're going to mandate it, well, then my attitude is they ought to make sure that they fully fund it. So once again, if you come across any of our congressional electeds, that would be what Doris Matsui, Kevin Kiley, and Dr. Ami Bera. Come across them because they're out and about. They're campaigning because they want to stay in Congress. Make sure you tell them fully fund IDEA. Real simple. Fully fund IDEA.
Full funding is a concept that's been near and dear to my heart for
Too long,
30
probably.
years now.
Yes.
And just as a number for those of you in the audience, in case you aren't aware, the federal government provides about 12% of the funding for special education. When IDEA was adopted, they stated they would provide 40%. They've never provided more, and I think the max I ever heard about was 17.
Yes, exactly. And once again, as we're getting better at identifying, we're seeing the numbers of students go up. We're not seeing any additional resources come our direction. And once again, even if you don't have a student who's special needs, the money is coming out of that classroom in order to help address these needs. So all of our students are affected by their lack of commitment to full funding.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to move on to Professional Learning Support Teachers, PLST, update.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Wedded, and here with me we have Lindsay Clark and John Byram, and together we serve as the Professional Learning Support teachers at PLSTs. So today, sorry, I'm a little nervous. We are very lucky to be in this role as PLSTs, mainly because we get to work together, we make an amazing team, and we get to see all the amazing things happen in the district. Today for this presentation, we will be sharing an overview of our role as PLSTs. Because our work spans many areas across the district and how we support teachers as well as the district, we want to give you a clear picture of what it looks like in practice. I will begin with how the support we provide. In this next slide, you will see a list. Of support that the PLSTs provide to teachers here in the Robla School District. We provide support with unit and lesson planning. This includes unpacking grade level standards, also refining lesson structures and backwards mapping. We also support with navigating the other curriculum programs we have here in the district. PLSTs also provide demonstration lessons, which entails planning and teaching a lesson in a teacher's classroom, modeling a specific strategy or area of focus that the teacher would like a little bit more help in. We then debrief the lesson and see what we can do and provide that teacher so that they can implement it as well. Observations with feedback. So this is when a teacher will request that we observe them and provide some feedback on a specific area that, again, that they want to focus in on. So there we're able to focus and highlight the good and the positives, as well as point out some areas of growth that we can work on and focus on and work together to improve on. Guided observations. This is our favorite support because it can really impact positively so many and everybody involved in this. In this process, a teacher will go observe another teacher in their school site or at another school site. A PLST will provide coverage so that they don't have to do subplans, so it's like low stakes for them, and teaching isn't lost. And another PLST will accompany that teacher to go do the observation. The PLST is there to highlight the teaching practices that are occurring, and also to point out little details that we probably go over our heads, but that are super important and can really shift and change the lesson for the positive. And so after that, a PLST will sit with that teacher and debrief and go over the lesson, and then see what ways that they can start implementing those strategies that they saw in the classroom that they observed shortly after they'd done the observation. Classroom management's a big one because we have newer teachers in our school district. We provide teachers with building consistent routines, clear expectations, and helping them implement proactive strategies that maximize instructional time. And lastly, with assessments, especially primary, there's a lot of one-on-one assessments that need to be completed. So us as PLSTs will go in and teach the lessons so that teachers are able to do those assessments with their students to see their growth progress. So the teachers we have supported. So this is exciting. So we are on pace to work with 100% of the teachers through peer observations by the end of this school year. We're currently at Maine conducting peer observations. In addition to the peer observations, we've worked with 64 out of 78 teachers, ranging from TK to 6th grade this school year, providing individualized support on a weekly, bi-weekly, or as a needed basis. Of the 64 teachers, 16 of those teachers are in their year 1 or year 2 of teaching, and we're really happy that we've been able to provide individualized support for them as well. In the next slide, you're going to see the support that we've provided with teachers and grade bands. And so we have TK, K, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Although supporting our newer teachers remains a priority, they account for about 25% of the 64 teachers we've provided individualized support for. The largest portion of the support falls in the range of teachers with 6+ years of teaching experience. They make up about 42%, and that's roughly about 27 teachers of the 64 teachers we've supported this school year. The next portion, that's the second largest, is the teachers from 3 to 5 years, almost about 33%, and that makes up about 21 teachers who have sought out individual support by a PLST. We're really proud that we've been able to reach and provide individual support for an additional 82% of the teachers, aside from the 100% goal that we're going to reach by the end of the school year.
Quick question, do you do any work with like long-term substitutes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we do. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I asked that because when I spent time both as a classroom teacher and as a long-term substitute, I'll tell you, I really could have used your help.
We provide support with planning as well as assessments because they're, it's new to them. So we're in there.
We're doing demos for them so that
Another thing we've been doing this year is supporting school sites with their individual initiatives that they have at their sites. At Bell Avenue, for example, the focus was on guided language acquisition design, also known as GLAD. As a GLAD trained school, Bell expressed a strong interest in continuing this work and deepening their practices. To support this work, I partnered with Principal Hall and a GLAD trainer to support coaching cycles focused on effective teaching strategies. Teachers chose either a new strategy to them or a strategy they've been working on but would like feedback and would like to grow in. Teachers were able to meet with the coach and myself to plan for the lesson and were observed later in the week. They then received day of feedback for their lesson. We later built on this work by connecting peer observations to GLAD strategies and student engagement. We will share about peer observations in a few slides. Overall, teachers provided positive feedback and found the process very valuable.
At Maine Elementary School, their initiative was to focus on strengthening kinder through 6th grade phonics instruction. We collaborate with the principals, Sarah Newhouse and Deidre from SCOE, to support the implementation. At the start of the year, we worked with teachers to define what high-quality phonics instruction looks like. The process on how to approach this looked different depending on the grade level band, and it was based on a 6-step phonics instructional like a template, like a alignment of to follow. So PLSTs co-planned and modeled a 4-day phonics lesson and demonstrated these in the school site. So depending on the band, we provided that 4-day lesson so that they can see all 6 steps and how it progresses from day 1 to day 4. We also provided coverage for debriefs for teachers who went to other school sites to observe a phonics lesson of a teacher who's super experienced in that grade level. We also facilitated debriefs of teachers observing one another or requesting that a PLST observe their phonics lesson so that they can debrief and see what they can do differently to improve their phonics lesson. After the initial work, we realized that the grade level bands needed to move into different directions. I worked with kindergarten to 2nd grade to continue the phonics, to continue working on phonics, while 3rd through 6th grade shifted and their focus went into reading comprehension. So I supported kindergarten through 2nd grade by analyzing the screener data and working alongside the intervention specialist at Maine to strengthen Tier 1 classroom instruction. We used the data and created targeted small groups based on the students' needs and allowing instructions to be more intentional. This approach varied across grade levels. Some kindergarten focused on centers and how they can utilize centers differently so that they can target those groups. 1st and 2nd grade shifted their 6-step phonics lesson and created small groups towards 4, 5, and 6 steps. And that varied depending on the day and what the lesson was. Maine is currently doing peer observations, as we've mentioned, that will be discussed shortly. And teachers are focused on specific areas within the 6-step phonics structure to observe and debrief on.
I was able to support the intermediate teachers at Maine when they shifted from their phonics instruction over to reading comprehension lessons. And we were able to do something that we haven't really done before in Robla, but we've been talking about for a while. I went into a 5th grade classroom over at Maine and taught a full reading comprehension lesson. Lindsay and Alicia came with me and they filmed my entire lesson, which was about 1 hour and 15 minutes. During that lesson, I was really focused on supporting comprehension skills before students read an article, while they read their passage, and then after they read that passage. Once we filmed the lesson, the 3rd through 6th grade teachers sat down and watched large chunks of that lesson. Their job was to discuss the strengths, but more importantly, they were looking at missed opportunities of my lesson. They were looking for spots, that could be clarified, or where students were under-supported, or maybe they were over-supported. We really look forward to adding to our video library because they're really great tools for reflection and growth. Something new this year that the PLSTs have been excited to support and facilitate is the introduction of Robla's instructional model. An instructional model is where the teachers come together and we define what good teaching looks like. It's based on the educational research of Dr. Robert Marzano, and it's a research-based framework that guides how instruction is delivered. We want to make sure that everybody is emphasizing and prioritizing the same things in teaching. It's going to create that common language that allows teachers and students to talk about teaching and learning regardless of their grade or school subject. This year, we had 3 professional development days with Dr. McGee, a representative from the Marzano Resource Company. She's worked on engagement, direct instruction, ways to assess, and practicing and deepening lessons. What's great about these is that they apply to TK teachers, music teachers, art teachers, because everybody has to engage, do some form of direct instruction, assess their students, and have their students deepen their understanding of the content. When we were implementing this work, the PLSTs collaborated with site principals and staff to establish an instructional model share-out practice. What this entails is teachers receiving professional development, trying new instructional strategies in their room for a few weeks, and then sharing out at staff meetings individually for about 5 minutes about what they tried, when they tried it, and what was the impact on students. For example, in August, Dr. McGee came, and our focus was engagement and direct instruction. Following that professional development, we helped teachers set goals on increasing the engagement in their classroom. They went and tried new strategies from the professional development. They came back and reflected with each other about how those strategies went and what was the impact on students. We repeated this process again in November when Dr. McGee arrived for her 2nd time. We continued to work on engagement and direct instruction, and teachers set goals on enhancing their direct instruction. Again, they tried some different techniques from the professional development, and they came back and shared out what the impact was on students. Most recently, Dr. McGee was here just last month working on ways to assess and practicing and deepening lessons. Again, teachers are setting goals, one from each area, and then they will be trying strategies in their room and coming back over the next few weeks to discuss what the impact was on students. We're really excited about the arrival of the instructional model and expanding and deepening our work over the next year or so. Thank you.
Can I ask you a quick question? Yeah. What does it mean by the bottom of the last slide? Teachers spent about 5 minutes in pods.
Yeah, I can clarify that for you.
Okay.
At our staff meetings, teachers were in pods of 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
And they just shared out for about 5 minutes each about what they tried in their room.
Okay, I didn't know if like they were like typing it into like a system or
Oh,
pod stood for something. So I just wanted to make sure.
Peer observations. This was our second year implementing peer observations here in Robla. It's a simple but powerful process where teachers have the opportunity to observe a colleague either in their same grade level or a similar grade level. Teachers observe but are also observed themselves and receive feedback. The goal is really about creating a culture where classrooms feel open, not isolated, where teachers can learn from each other in a meaningful way. It also keeps instruction at the center of our conversations where we want it to be. New this year, we were more intentional about connecting peer observations to site initiatives, as well as district instructional model. Each site chose a common focus, such as GLAD, phonics, math. During these, teachers focused on engagement and direct instruction, as mentioned during the instructional model. We wanted to make that connection. This gave the observation a very clear focus, like what they were going into. The peer observation process requires some planning and logistics behind the scenes. We start by meeting with the principal to decide on each site's focus. Then we went to staff meetings to introduce the process and collect teacher schedules. From the beginning, we wanted this to be as seamless and low disruption as possible for teachers. We didn't want teachers to have to rearrange their day. So if one teacher taught math at 8:30 or one taught it at noon, that's when the observations happened. We didn't want anyone having to move anything around. We also had to be mindful of things like enrichment, field trips, and other events that impact the school day. From there, we built the observation schedule and provided classroom coverage. So we were the ones covering the class. That was a big priority for us. We didn't want teachers to feel like they were losing any instructional time by being out of the classroom. So we stepped into their classroom. We taught what was already planned, so no lesson plans needed. And during the observation, PLST would accompany the observing teacher and then facilitate the debrief after. We have completed peer observations at Taylor, Glenwood, and Bell. We are currently in working at Maine, and then Robla will be in May. We will have done all 5 sites by the end. Oh, whoopsies. We can share the work we do, but we thought it would be better for you to hear about the experiences of the teachers that we work with. We have included testimonials from teachers we work with that are at all stages of their careers, from it being their first year to 10 years to all the way to 25 plus years of experience. We also included a few principal testimonials this year, sharing what it's like to partner with us and have support on their campuses. These testimonials are included in our presentation. I know the font's a little bit small, so I just wanted to highlight a couple sentences. I didn't want to read them all, but from a DLI combo teacher with 8 years of experience, she stated, "I have received support from multiple PLSTs over the past 5 years, ranging from collaboration to support evaluations, informal observations to receive feedback, coverage to observe peers, as well as join PLCs, and more importantly now, math lesson support with her combo class. Although I am not unique in receiving this support from PLSTs, I am very appreciative of their openness and willingness to push in with whatever task is necessary for my professional development across multiple settings." And then back here from Principal Benjamin. Their presence on site is strong. They actively support lesson planning, participate in both grade level and site PLCs, and even serve on our leadership committee. Their depth of instructional expertise is evident in the way they effectively support both new and veteran teachers, helping to strengthen teaching and learning across our site. So those are there if you'd like to read them. And next year. Next year, we want to continue to build on the progress of peer observations. Our goal is to make it that all specialists, including enrichment, ELSTs, intervention, and special education staff have access to this meaning and relevant experience. For example, an art teacher should observe another art teacher so that those strategies are relevant to what they are doing on a day-to-day basis. So that would require some cross-school observations. We would like to also continue with the cross-school observation opportunities. This would allow staff to learn from best practices happening across all sites. For instance, at some of our Taylor teachers are being GLAD trained, so it'd be really beneficial for them to go to Bell, where GLAD has been around for a while, and observe teachers there to see it in action. We also want to move towards a more authentic lesson study model. This is where the teachers actually plan the lesson together. One teacher teaches it, they debrief after, they make revisions to it, and then the second teacher would teach it, and then they would be observed. And so that would show the importance of planning, constantly refining our practice. So that's something we would like to work towards next year. Pop-up PDs will also continue to be an important part of our work, as it allows us to provide just-in-time support for teachers. We want to keep identifying and offering sessions that meet emerging needs throughout the year. We're really excited about the direction we're heading next year and the opportunities it will bring. Thank you, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I have two kind of thoughts. One is, thank you. I love this idea of, co-planning a lesson and doing it. I have been asking this question, why don't we have an intervention model for the district, across the board? But I think I understand there might be some nuances in the different strategies, but I think that having someone who's GLAD trained observe someone else who's GLAD trained might continue that buy-in and continue, to have an impact on the district. My other question was, I was looking at the instructional models, and I was looking at the different plans that schools had, but I noticed that there wasn't a goal or a plan for Taylor or Glenwood, and kind of wondering why.
Certain sites partner with SCOE for MOUs and initiatives, and currently Maine and Bell have those plans in place. So that's why we are supporting with those.
SCOE and then Bell has been so we wanted to support the individual initiatives, and schools have reached out to us for that process.
I guess it's a note for you, is that I would like to see this at all the schools having a goal or a plan. I'm sure they're all connected some sort of way. So to see it some consistency, I think, would be helpful, because I think when we're looking at the little test scores and things like that, we see some schools having a greater impact on things like reading and math, and I think that comes with having a goal and being.
I would say that every site has a goal. Like, for instance, Robla Elementary focused on Step Up to Writing, but that might not be a goal that the PLSTs were actively involved in. And we do know that Glenwood is an AVID school, and again, that might not be an initiative or goal that you guys have been so, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I want to say a year or two ago, Taylor did have something with phonics, and we came and we did what does phonics look like in the intermediate grades, mainly because those teachers don't often have a lot of classical phonics training. And I know Superintendent Chen was there for us when we did that.
Couple of questions. So you talk about at Robla, you were talking about, the Marzano instructional model. What was the instructional model before? Was it Paulo Freire?
That's actually it's a really good question. And it kind of came up, I think, earlier. SOAR, I think, was supposed to be an instructional model. And COVID happened and things happened and the training kind of stopped for that. And so the Marzano instructional model is a little broader than what we were doing in SOAR. For example, in SOAR, we were doing things like getting kids talking more in math, and that was very, very, very specific. This is because not everyone teaches math, right? Your PE teacher doesn't teach math. That training doesn't apply to them. So our instructional model here with Dr. Marzano, again, encompasses everybody. Everybody's got to engage. Everyone's got to have direct instruction. It does apply through all grade levels and subjects. This is just the first part of the instructional model, right? We're rolling it out slowly. But the major components are feedback, content, and context, making sure students are getting that feedback, you're setting the content, and that you have the appropriate context, building relationships and establishing connections with families.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I said, Paulo Freire, I always mispronounce his last name. I'm not a big fan of his educational model. I do like the science of education, science of teaching much, much better. It tends to be a lot more organized, and it's about driving results. Exactly. So I'm glad that you're doing that. The other question that I had was, you were talking about in terms of the development of the lesson plans. You used the word, you said authentic, and I'm asking what you mean in that context, only because, you know, I hear words like intentionality, and I have no idea what they mean in terms of the context of education. Can you tell me what you mean by develop a lesson plan in an authentic way?
For the lesson study?
Yes, for the lesson study.
And just a lot of teachers don't have the opportunity. I mean, they get to meet a little during the regular year. Sorry.
Thank you.
And so it's a chance for them to really sit down and plan together and go through all those processes of a lesson
Okay.
plan, and not in a kind of a low pressure. Like, we're planning it together. We're going to teach it together. We're trying to create that culture where we're trying to learn from each other. And it's not about being evaluated. It's about really getting the opportunity to learn from each other.
There you go. I appreciate that clarification.
absolutely.
That's really helpful. Okay, any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation and for all the work that you're doing. Okay, now we're going to move on to consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're going to do a roll call vote. Do we have Trustee Cardona there?
Aye.
All right. Trustee Devine.
Hold on. I'm here.
Okay. We're on the consent agenda. I'm sorry, I'm entertaining a motion. First, let me, I don't remember, did I entertain a motion to?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Okay. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I would just like to speak to this item this
Okay.
evening because it's always exciting to make sure that we're having an opportunity to welcome new leaders into the district and ensure that they have some time to meet the board. And on this consent agenda, we actually are welcoming two leaders, one of whom wasn't able to join us tonight, and that is Crystal Gonzalez. And she has taken on the role of the site community liaison there at Glenwood School. And she comes to us from a charter background, working in a similar capacity for charter schools. And she actually is a product of Robla and has family currently in Robla. So that is one measure of our students' successes, right? And then our next leader that we're welcoming actually is joining us virtually by Zoom. And this is Kelly Briggs, and she's going to become our special education director starting next school year. Kelly?
Hey, everybody. Thank you for inviting me tonight. Yeah, I'm super excited to join Robla. One of the things that really attracted me to this district is the demographics. I'm really passionate about the lower income kind of demographic, and having been a single mom myself and, you know, working my way up, it's just a passion of mine. And so I'm very excited to join. I also noticed with what I saw with Robla was that you guys have a really high inclusion rate for special ed students, and that's really exciting to me. And I would love to see that continue and really be a part of continuing that culture of inclusion. My background is I've been teaching in education. Started teaching about 15 years ago, and I've been I'm finishing out my sixth year in administration. I've worked in charter schools. I've taught K through 12. I was a special ed service provider. So I actually have a really broad kind of spectrum of experience, which I think is really exciting. And I'm excited to learn more and join everybody at Robla. So thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, for joining us this evening.
Welcome to Robla.
Welcome to Robla.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move on to action items. We'll start with item A. Approve 2026-27 Comprehensive Data Assessment System, Amplify.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
She came up and talked. We never did the vote for the, was it the consent?
Oh, we didn't do the vote. Huh? We did not do the vote. Good catch. Okay, there's a motion on the table. All right.
Yes.
And a second. Okay, Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Can I move on to action items? Item A, approve the 2026-27 Comprehensive Data Assessment System Amplify.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion.
I have a quick question. I was looking at the documents for this and I'm slightly confused. Is this an additional testing program that we're going to be adding, or is this a data gathering?
Mr. Penman's going to do a presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I was trying to walk up here, but I was,
Sorry.
come or not come. or-
Well, there's my question.
Okay, all right, well, I'm going to give you some answers.
Perfect.
I'm excited to be here today for this assessment system. I'm a Director of Curriculum and Assessment. I'm Mario Penman. This is kind of a timely thing needed for us, so I hope that we, in the end, decide to go forward with this, and I'll explain why in a few minutes. So this is our agenda: why a district assessment system for benchmarks and student support, the committee and exploration of assessment systems, criteria for the assessment system was chosen, and the platform information, and the possible next steps. So as some of you know, we've had TCI here for, I think every year I've been here, 19 years. And TCI was a Teacher Curriculum Institute where teachers came together in all grade levels from all school sites to work on ELA, math, science, curriculum mapping and standards and assessment benchmarks. They did this every year for the 19 years I've been here to work on the assessment system. And that took them 5 days. It was about 22 people. They built things in to illuminate the system that the data was put into. But in this day and age, with the advent of all the technology and data systems that we have now, they are so much more capable. They are more sophisticated and robust. And so it's time for us to kind of go in that direction. The advent of these data systems allows us to access things immediately. So if I'm a teacher giving a test on ELA or math, I can access a chart of those students' scores and what they need students' interventions to be immediately. And we don't have that. It's usually cumbersome for us to gather a lot of data. And so when Superintendent Chen said, can we get this data? Can we get this data? It doesn't come immediately to us through our system. So this would allow us to have this immediately for not only the teachers, but for the site administrators and for the district. We took a look at iExcel, iReady, Amplify, and Renaissance. I do want to thank the committee. We had a lot of meetings to process all of the information with these vendors. We met with iExcel, iReady, Amplify, and Renaissance, and we met with a couple of them a few times because we wanted to make sure that we would further ask some questions that we had questions about as we discussed them. And so I want to thank those, the director, Cindy Lyon, and the 8 teachers, and the PLSTs, and Sarah Newhouse. So this is a criteria for the assessment system that we looked at. We looked at a lot of things, and some of the vendors that we looked at prior to the 4 that we chose didn't have available for DLI. They didn't have some components that we were looking for, so they were immediately eliminated, and so that's why we landed on 4. I think for the one that we landed on, I think the data easily accessible really stood out. The teacher resources in the platform also stood out, and the length of the assessments and parent-home connection really were a lot more robust than the other ones. One that we did choose is Amplify. I think that some of you may remember that when we did the K2 screener, the state offered us 4 choices, and Amplify was one of them. We did choose Amplify for various reasons from that criteria. It is an amazing platform that I have seen over the years. This is the best, and the committee recommended this one wholeheartedly. This data system allows teachers to see reports immediately, like I said, for the benchmark. The dashboard info on the left shows an overall summary of how the overall class is doing in the skill area. Letter names, letter sounds, decoding, word reading. The one on the right shows a breakdown on the child, how they also performed, and it shows just a kind of like the CASP where it says above, at, below, or well below benchmarks. So it gives the teachers an idea of where their students are. So when the teacher gives this to their kids right now, this will pop up right after that session. There also in this platform, it automatically groups your students for you. It gives you the skill level at each area, so it'll group the students who need specific skill areas. The teacher can now take that information and have specific small group instruction immediately off the platform. Not only that, but on that platform, which is extremely accessible to the teachers, they access activities in those areas immediately as well for those small group instructions. So that's a really nice component for teachers and students for that matter. There's also a component which I really like, which is called Boost, which is an overall for K-6 students with intervention challenges. It can help them further learn. It shows around an 8% statistical growth for students if they are on this computer adapted program, at least 30 minutes per week. Computer adapted means that it gives them practice at their level. This is also good for coherence across our districts because we have used multiple things across our district in different schools for ELA and math. This will take that away. This will go across the board where everybody is being coherent on what we're using for every child in our district in the area of ELA and math.
Real quick, is this going to be accessible by the students also at home?
It sure is. I was getting to that, but it's accessible to the kids at home, absolutely. This is the parent component. The families get something to see as well. The student reports comes right out of the system for the teachers to send home. They give activities for the families, which is the one on the right side. It gives them exactly what to do for certain areas of the student needs. And so that's a tremendous benefit for the students as well. And yes, Board Member DeLuce, they can do it at home as well. So I know the board last time at the last board meeting, we talked about budgetary considerations. We wanted to make sure that we are mindful of purchases. These systems are very expensive, but I'm going to hopefully sway you in a direction that takes you away from that huge cost because we're going to also take away some costs. If you look at Amplified K6, we didn't do any of that K6, so it was zero for 25-26, but we had the Amplified K2 screener down below, which was $10,000. The system in 26-27, which we're putting into tonight, is $130,000, but 10,000 of that we're already utilizing, so that's already budgeted, so that's why I put 120. 40,000 of that first year is PD. So for the following year, 27-28, it'll be $80,000. So Renaissance was the other part that we were using as well for our ELA. That was $65,000. We are no longer going to be using Renaissance because now we're going to have Amplify to take over that piece. We are going to keep 13,000 of that, but that's a saving of minus 52,000. And the reason we're keeping that Renaissance piece is because it houses our report cards and our teachers' grade books. We're going to keep that for now until we find some other access point to maybe get that out of there as well. And then TCI, as I spoke to earlier, that is probably around a cost of $40,000 every year to get all of those teachers together for 5 days to do all of that work that we were talking about. Now the system's going to do that for us. So that'll be a cost of a minus 35,000 on that. There will be some maintenance to be done. When we talk about making changes like that, we have to change curriculum maps. We have to change assessment mapping. So that's why I have 5,000 still on there because some of that maintenance still needs to occur. If the board, next steps, if the board approves tonight, we plan on purchasing the product in May for next school year. The training would, of course, happen in early August in our first professional learning day. Any questions?
I want to thank you for the budgetary considerations because, yeah.
Yeah, I knew I was going to fight that one if I didn't have something. And we do have some genuine concerns about that, but we have everything kind of, I think, lined out that it was going to be okay. And actually, we have some state funding coming to us for professional development and early literacy or literacy in general from the state that's coming to us next school year. I don't know what they're going to give all the districts, but money is coming for that purpose. We could probably use some of that for this.
And this is for all school sites, correct?
This is for all school sites.
Will we be talking with our parent or with our parents to explain the printouts, or are they going to get them emailed or?
We have done that for K2. So now we'll have to, because they had the K2 screener for Amplify already. It's the same kind of system for all the K6. So we'll have to do that for our 3 through 6.
And does this program allow you to translate it into other languages for when the students take it home to their parents if they are unable to
It
read
does
English?
allow us to translate in other languages. Not, like every language, but I think it has like top 4.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have the Spanish for sure because of the DLI program.
Did you have a question, Trustee Cardona?
No, all my questions being answered.
Well, I'll tell you, you had me at one, quicker and easier access to data. And then the ability to group students according to skill level and actually have examples of tasks and skill development interventions that they can focus on. Yeah, you had me at that.
These programs are pretty incredible these days.
It looks like a pretty good committee chair. Thank the committee.
Thank
I mean,
you.
there's so many. There's just so many different vendors. It's hard to decide like which one is going to have the greater impact. But I'm excited to see how it works, and hopefully it's something easy for our teachers to use, and for them to have the support to be able to do that. The thing that I would really love to see is there not to be like so many different places where our data is housed. So hopefully like this will kind of streamline some of that.
I think it definitely will be. As I alluded to earlier, there's schools that are doing a whole bunch of different things. And so we're not accessing it district-wide. And I think that coherence piece is missing for sure. So this will take away some of that.
By the way, I also appreciate you kind of sharing the process of how you arrived at it, who was involved in the process, the criteria that you looked at, and how you went through the process of elimination. That really made it easy for us to understand how you landed on Amplify.
Thank you.
Any additional comments or debate? Hearing none, we will move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item B, first reading, revised policies, regulations, or exhibits.
So moved.
Second.
Now, this is actually okay, that's what I was going to ask. So this is actually approval of revised policies, regulations, and exhibits. Once again, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Did you have any discussion? Anything you want to share? The one thing that I wanted to note was the response to immigration enforcement. That is something that is basically now being required by law for us to approve.
Correct.
Okay. Is this significantly different than previous board policy relating to other law enforcement actions or enforcement?
Well, the 1,000 series applies to community, 5,000 series applies to students. I will say there's an example, I think it's 5,145, where we allow law enforcement to speak to our students, right, without informing parents. An example would be if they're investigating a CPS report, right? So the immigration board policy 1445 outlines when immigration enforcement or officers come to our campus, they are not allowed access to our staff or students without a court order, right? We do not require a court order for law enforcement to like interview our students if they're doing an investigation. So that's an example where we are not consistent, where we don't require a court order.
But otherwise, it's pretty much consistent.
Correct.
And once again, I wanted to share that because I just wanted the community to know we have always put students first, student safety first. We've always made sure that when kids come to school, when our students come to school, this is a safe place for them. And that's overall when dealing with any law enforcement agency, not just immigration. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. Any additional comments or debate? No more discussion or debate. We'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Item C, vote and approve 2026 CSBA Delegate Assembly runoff election.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
But we actually have to pick a candidate to whom we are going to endorse, to whom we are going to vote for, either Sasha Vaught or Delia Bolwin. As a member of the Delegate Assembly, I would throw my weight behind Miss Bolwin, but you know, whatever y'all think. So as we do put forth a motion, it has to be to vote for one or the other.
I also support Ms. Bowen.
Okay.
Same.
Would you like to introduce a motion?
I would like to introduce a motion to cast our board's vote for Delia Baldwin.
Delia Bolwin. Second. It's been moved and second. Is there any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item D, approve 1.0 FTE bus driver custodian position effective May 1st, 2026.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Is there any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item E, approve and adopt dismissal of certain certificated probationary employees, resolution number 946.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item F, approve and adopt resolution number 944, increase in level 1 statutory school facility fees for 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Good evening, everyone. To give you all a little bit of history, back in January, the State Allocation Board increased the maximum allowable amount that can be charged for developer fees. And this resolution authorizes, if it's passed, approved and passed, it authorizes the district to start charging those higher fees effective July 1. When we get to items L and M, this will become very important as well, and I'll explain more about that then. But this resolution allows us to start charging the higher fees going into effect July 1.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item G, approve inspector of record service agreement with MCF Construction Services for shade structure projects at Bell Avenue, Glenwood, Robla, and Taylor Street Schools.
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Yes, so the metal shade structure projects are moving ahead, and we are required for projects like this to have an inspection of record on site to make sure that we are in compliance with building codes and safety standards. MCF Construction, who happens to be the IOR on the current main project, has submitted a proposal to do the same for these projects. And if you approve the service agreement, he will be in place to start doing the same sort of duties and responsibilities as he's doing for Maine, but for the shade structure project.
Yeah, this is a requirement. This is a state requirement.
Correct.
Do other states have this requirement?
I would assume so, but I don't know.
Okay, wouldn't know. Okay.
But I would assume there'd be some kind of safety and building code
Right.
standards required, yes.
Okay. Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Stark?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item H, approve contract with Diablo Roofing and Waterproofing for Taylor Elementary School roof replacement.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I'm assuming this one's pretty much self-explanatory.
It is.
All right, any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Stark?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item I, approve contract with TSE Construction for Main Avenue ES new library renovation.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Nothing to add?
It's
Any-
self-explanatory.
Pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward with the roll call vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those who opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item J, approved and adopt authorizing change order with futility exception for the Glenwood Emergency Portable Relocation Project, resolution number 947.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
So I have learned that the building code requires you're limited to have change orders totaling 10% of the original bid amount. If you come to that threshold and need to go over it, you have two options. Option one is to say, okay, we're going to pause where we are. We're going to go out to bid for just that extra amount. And while we go through that whole process again, the project's kind of on hold. The other option is to do what we're doing here and file a change order. It's called a change order via futility exception. J and K are actually kind of interrelated. J is the resolution authorizing the change order. K is the change order itself. Excuse me. The reason for the change order is because DSA, when we submitted, and I don't know the right terminology, but when we submitted our progress plans to them for review, DSA came back with some additional requirements they needed us to comply with related to lighting and data drops, I believe. And so that took us over that 10% threshold. So in order to keep the project from just sitting on pause while we go out to bid, we're asking that you approve you authorize the change order through the resolution, and then K is the resolution. The change order itself.
Did they give a reason why they didn't request those things initially?
No, they did not. I did not see one. When they required the adjustment following the DSA approval, the findings, whatever the DSA findings were, necessitated additional lighting and extra data drop installation.
Okay. Any additional discussion or debate?
I just have this is just a minor thing, but I think there's a typo on the resolution number 947. It starts off with the line from the National Mental Health Awareness Month.
Do we believe that any other bids coming, if we were to wait, would be around the same price?
The general thinking is it's uncertain. I mean, because we have this process already started and in place, this seemed the smoother way, the cleaner way, the probably more economical way to go. Okay. And again, doing it this way keeps you from having to put the project on pause while you go through that whole process again.
All All right, so do we need to like amend, maybe amend the motion to make it such that it'll be the amended resolution 947? Because yeah, the first whereas is, all right. So I would ask both the maker of the motion and the seconder of the motion to approve the amended resolution number 947, or resolution 947 as amended, which would include the elimination of the first whereas.
Who made the motion?
Hmm?
Who made the motion? Sorry.
Sharona.
Oh, I'm sorry. How do I need to word it?
All right, I'll entertain a motion, entertain a motion to amend your motion
Yes.
to adopt that was easy for me to say. To adopt resolution number 947 as amended.
So moved. I like that better.
Second.
All right.
Now it's up to Ramon to figure out.
There you go. Ramon will figure it out. Okay, any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to with a roll call vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item K, approved change order contract with EGA Network for the Glenwood Emergency Portable Relocation Project.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. Is there any discussion or debate?
Again, this is just the change order referenced in the resolution.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item L, adopt and approve supporting preschool, transitional kindergarten, and full-day kindergarten facilities grant program for Glenwood Elementary, resolution number 948.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
So this is, just like J and K were related, L and M are related. This is an ongoing funding source that's administered by OPSC. This is the funding source where we got the funds for the Maine and Bell projects. And now we're looking at doing the same for Glenwood. The reason that L and M are separated is because there are three pots of money in this overall source. One is for full day K, one is for TK, and one is for preschool. Each resolution has to be separate. One is for preschool and one is for TK. Glenwood already got some funding for full day kindergarten a couple of years ago, I understand. So that's why there are two resolutions. The reason I mentioned when we talked about the developer fees, the importance of that in this, and that's because the awarding of the funds is based on a rating scoring system of 80 points. And in order to get 40 of those 80 points, you have to be offering, or you have to be collecting developer fees at the maximum allowable rate. So that's half the points right there. And if we did not do that, clearly it'd be slim to none that we would even get a piece of the pie. Also, the piece of the pie this round is very small. Statewide, it's only $31.6 million total. We need every point we can get. And again, L and M are the same thing. It's just one is for TK and one is for preschool.
And just to add a little bit more, Maine qualified under round 4. We weren't sure that they were going to fund round 5, so they are funding round 5 to not the same amount. So we definitely want to take advantage, and Glenwood is the next school based on their enrollment.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we will move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item M, adopt and approve supporting preschool, transitional kindergarten, and full-day kindergarten facilities grant program, Glenwood Elementary, resolution number 949.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Divine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item N, approve renewal of contract with Colby Technologies.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion or debate?
This is just a renewal of the contract, excuse me, that we already have in place with Colby Technologies. Colby Technologies does the reviewing and scoring of any and all pre-qualification applications we get, any CUPCA applications we get, and this is just to renew the contract.
Any additional discussion or debate?
I just want to say thank you, because this particular round of items has been a lot more challenging, and I appreciate your diligence in making sure that we're on top of things and also being able to explain to us, before this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Divine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item O, approve 26-27 expanded learning vendor recommendations for RFP number 26-107, core expanded learning, and RFP number 26-108, supplemental and enrichment only services.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All right.
Good evening, everyone. Alexios Vakis, Expand Learning Coordinator here for the district. Just a quick summary. On February 13th, 2026, the district issued two requests for proposals for the 26-27 Expand Learning Opportunities Program. RFP number 2607 sought qualified providers to deliver core expanded learning program services, including before school, after school, intersession, and summer programming for transitional kindergartners through sixth grade students. RFP number 2608 sought qualified providers to deliver supplemental and enrichment-only services within the district's ELOP programs for the same grade range. And tonight, I'll be presenting the request for proposals process we use to select our 2026-2027 school year ELOP program partners.
Nuvia, we're just waiting for the presentation to be presented, uploaded.
So the process followed 5 deliberate steps, starting with family voice and ending here tonight, and we'll walk through each process and step briefly. First, we had the parent voice survey. Before a single page of the RFP was drafted, we surveyed families. 120 households responded across 4 different languages. Academic support, new enrichment, and safety rose to the top, and those priorities were directly built into our scoring rubric for this RFP. We then hosted a parent feedback night on January 14th at Main Avenue Elementary to validate what the survey told us. Parent input was documented and used to finalize the scoring framework before the RFP was ever published. Vendors were evaluated on criteria that came directly from our community. This slide shows a direct translation. Every priority families raised had a corresponding domain within the RFP. So as you can see, academic support and homework help directly translated into the grading criteria as program design and student engagement. And the rest, new enrichment not in the school day, translated to how we graded the programs based on their enrichment variety and their cultural relevance, and goes down for safety supervision, family communication, and behavioral support. Both RFPs were posted publicly on February 13th. Known providers were directly notified, and a public notice ran in the SAC-B, meeting all legal bidding requirements. By March 20th, the deadline, the district received 62 proposals across both RFPs. Each proposal was reviewed by an independent panel of 9 district administrators, including district office staff and representation from every single school site. Proposals were then evaluated on the proposers' understandings of our needs, their staff qualifications, relevant experience, demonstrated success with similar programming, and pricing competitiveness. The process ran on schedule from start to finish. As you can see, we launched February 13th. Deadline for questions was February 24th. The district issued responses on March 4th. Proposals due March 20th, and board approval tonight is planned. We're so excited to show, we're so excited for all of our selected partners and the possibilities for our students moving forward for the following school year. Any questions?
Not a question. I just want to, this is a really good process, and I want to thank the committee for everything that they did, because it really seems like that you listened to and looked at what happened in our first attempt at this, and tried to make sure that we address all those concerns. So I just want to thank you and the committee for that.
Yeah, I would say probably, though, the one thing I would have liked to have seen was as part of the criteria, a demonstration of familiarity with the Robla community. And I don't know, maybe that was part of it. Maybe it was in one of the areas.
I believe that was part of the rubric, if they were a vendor that partnered with us before. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe that was part of the rubric. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was incorporated into the rubric, and they got additional points for being a prior partner with us.
Excellent. Okay. Now we have one public comment on this. Brandon Gonzalez.
I just wanted to come and introduce myself. We actually submitted an RFP to be a contract service provider for the 26-27 year. And so I just want to say good evening, board members. My name is Brandon Gonzalez. I'm the co-founder of Flawless Boxing and Fitness. I want to thank the district for the opportunity to be considered as a part of the expanded learning programs. Our organization partners with multiple districts across the region, delivering non-contact boxing, mentorship, and wellness programming. We've seen strong outcomes in student engagement, confidence, and overall focus, and our goal is to provide a safe, structured environment to support both physical and personal development of the students. And we would be honored to serve the students and families of the Robla School District. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. I like that clarification, non-contact boxing.
And I have, I think, if any questions about the program, and I also have some items that I can share with you guys a little bit more about our foundation, as well as my gym. We're a local community, so the good thing is that we service the schools inside other districts. We get a lot of them to come back to our facility and train, and that's really where they get the experiences. So I formed a nonprofit called Flawless for Youth about 15 years ago. We've been doing it ever since. Actually, Mr. Roberts was one of our first partners that we partnered with when we started the boxing program. And so once we get them into the facility, we can deliver a lot of services. My business partner, Janelle, she has a master's degree in social work. She's a she's a planner for the county. And so we have a lot of services that we can introduce to the families at the gym, as well as our scholarship program. Our scholarship program is basically we raise money throughout the year, and also from our other partners, where we never tell a kid that they can't train because of financial barriers. So that's good that we get the kids from Washington Unified, also SAC Unified, that come that may not have the resources to train, but because of the fundraising that we do, that we're able to provide the training service for them as well.
Where's your facility located?
600 Broadway.
600 Broadway. Now, do you guys just do boxing? Do you do other like mixed martial arts or anything?
No, we just do boxing. All of my trainers are active coaches or boxing. We have a great partnership with Sacramento State as well. I'm developing the boxing program over there with Combat U. If I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
Very familiar with it.
But so we have a bunch of the student athletes that I train, also train and mentor the kids as a part of the program as well.
Well, you have some quality partners there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, Dr. Luca is a big supporter.
Sir. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we also have Sabrina Oliver.
Hi, I just had more questions, mostly about the next steps in the process that aren't addressed. I don't think they've been addressed yet. One, like, what are the next steps? What is what plans does the district have to selecting the final vendors? Like, I know this is the approved list of vendors to hire, but not all of them will be selected next year. So, what is the process that the district plans to move forward? Will parents be involved and able to provide their input, or will the vendors that were selected tonight present for parents to see and then provide input, kind of like last year where, you know, once you had the approval, they came and did presentations, there was some feedback, and then choices were made. And how is the district going to decide which vendors go to which sites, and if there will be a maximum number of vendors at one site? I say that specifically because the way things shook out at Glenwood, we had the largest number, and it was kind of not great. I think for the students, it was really hard because there were so many. Some of them had smaller numbers, and I understand why that happened, but I think a lot of parents hope that won't happen again. It was almost a situation of too much choice. And then same for the other, I forget what they're called, the supplemental vendors. Like, how are we gonna have those? Just like, what are the next steps for that?
Well, that was a lot. I will answer all of that right now. I will say, I will be working with Mr. Bacchus, and then we will have to write all those questions, and then we will present at a future meeting. But we will look at needs. We did hear. Is it going? Okay. We did hear the feedback, in terms of having too many vendors at a site, but we will be looking at all our vendors and seeing the needs of the schools, right? And as well as what all vendors submitted for proposals, right? We will come back and explain the process when that comes up. But just to clarify, you are right. We are just recommending the approval of the vendors. Contracts will be coming up at future board meetings.
And next we have Ravenna Hamlet.
Hi, everybody. My apologies. I completely missed the public card. So, Ramon, I'm sorry we're all attacking you. But yes, Rovina Hamlet with Roberts Family Development Center. I just wanted to take a moment to thank the board for our continued partnership with Roberts Family Development Center. One of the components I heard somebody speaking about earlier was Harambe, which is, if you guys don't know, our morning prep rally to get our students and our families engaged to the start of the day. We hope that you guys will all come out to our sites to be a read aloud guest for our students. But I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for our continued partnership. Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna have my dance ready this time.
All right, next we have Evelyn Morales.
Hello, board. It's very nice to talk to you guys tonight. My name is Evelyn Morales. I'm the program director at Food Literacy Center. We are one of the considered contractors for enrichment providing services. And for us at Food Literacy Center, Robla Elementary School District is one of our priority school sites. We love this school site. We love the district, and we've been working with students for the past 4 years in bringing cooking, nutrition, and also food access programs now to the district. And we are thankful to see the enrichment provider contract out for this year and excited to apply. This past year, although we haven't been working with our students, we still, through the after school program, we've still been connecting with the Robla community. We provide field trip programs to students to come out to our site to do hands-on cooking, farm to school, skill building. And this month, actually, we are working with all of the Robla Elementary School districts to be providing our recipe kit food access program, where students are taking home one of our recipes in a kit to go home, as we know that food and grocery prices are going up. It's one of our missions as well to make sure that our students that we serve are receiving equitable access to healthy and fresh fruits and vegetables. Our program provides our 10-week series where students get to learn basic cooking skills, basic nutrition skills, and are building resilience through healthy cooking and eating, as well as being able to build new skills that we know our kids are looking forward to doing. Sorry. And through our food distributions this past month, we've been excited to see kids who remember our staff that are out passing out our recipe kit bags and our produce bags, and are saying, where's food literacy? Are we going to see you guys again? So we've been seeing a lot of good feedback from our students and parents about our program, hopefully returning this upcoming year. Thank you so much.
Any additional discussion or debate? A couple of things that I wanted to note. Number one, I want to thank staff for the great amount of work that went into making sure that there was community input, to make sure that there was the process was transparent, to make sure that we all kind of knew what was going on and working with vendors. I want to thank the vendors, all those who applied or responded to the RFP, and those who got accepted or were looking to approve tonight. I want to say welcome to the Robla family. And I want to thank community members who this process went better because of community members. We know last year, I'm not going to say it was a hot mess, but it didn't go as smoothly last year, but it went much better this year. There was much more transparency. There was much more clarification. And I think it was a much better process. And that wouldn't have happened without the members of the community who came out and requested, strenuously requested? Strenuously requested that take place. So anyway, I wanted to make sure to say that, because I just want you to know, people in the community, we hear you, and we will do what we can to respond to the concerns that you have, because we know that you have them because you care. With that, if there's no additional discussion or debate, we will move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes? Aye. Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item P, approve 2627 contract with Changing Perspectives.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
No, Ms. Horowitz mentioned it in her presentation.
Okay. Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none.
Actually, really quick.
Yes.
It only lists 2 schools. Are these the only 2 schools we are going to be, or 2 school sites we will be using this at? So Bell Avenue and Robla?
No, we are continuing, we're going to continue with actually all of them, but, am I in the wrong one? There should be.
Oh, wait, never mind. It says 5 spots. Sorry.
Okay.
My screen was scrolled down to only the second paragraph.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote, a roll call vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. We now move on to board member requests for future agenda items or reports. Trustee Cardona?
Nothing to request right now.
Trustee Devine?
Nothing at this time?
Trustee Barnes?
At some point, for the spec ed contract, it lists all the rates. At some point, I think we should have a discussion on, well, we should get the numbers of how much we're spending on this, and have a discussion on should we be actually recruiting someone for these positions as opposed to contracting out. So I would love to get those numbers.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
No,
No, nothing to
that's
report.
questionable tonight. We're just used to, she's in a flow.
Yeah, I was like, we didn't approve it. Like, no, nothing to report. No, I have nothing else to say.
The only thing that I would like to add would probably be a study into the conspiracy to schedule a board meeting during the night of the NFL draft. Other than that.
So I don't have to watch it alone with my husband.
Okay, other than that, next scheduled board meeting is Thursday, May 28th at 2026?
No.
No, May 13th.
May 13th. Okay, well, look, I'm just reading what's there. So we need to update that. Oh, there you go. That's the board banquet. But technically it's a board meeting, so okay. May 13th we'll be doing the board banquet / meeting, and then May 28th will be the next full meeting of the Robla School Board. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, everyone.